Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Amsterdam once again. We're here, ISE 2017 on day 3. We're with NEC Display Solutions in Hall 5, stand R24. We're very pleased to have with us a representative from Google today. Mark Grady, who's with us, I'm going to have to look at my board, is the head of Chrome and Android channel in EMEA.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a tricky one. Mark Grady, welcome on board. Mark came and spoke to us last year. This is only your third year at ISE, so we're assuming that Google's interest in ISE is probably only 3 years old.
Yeah, that's correct. What we've seen is that when we launched the Chrome devices back in 2011, we were focused obviously with Chromebooks initially, but with the launch of the Chrome boxes, we've seen digital signage become a natural part of where the Chrome platform can go. And really, I think the fact is we're here with a stronger presence than ever around digital signage. So it's been an evolution in how much we've been involved around these events over that time. So it's exciting to be here.
Now we saw some lovely stuff with Chrome with Signage Live over in Hall 8. Where else can people find the Chrome devices?
Yeah, if you go over to Hall 10, there's A Open there, and they're featuring 2 new devices that are here, which is a Chromebox Mini and also a 10-inch screen Chrome device. We've also got ASUS here and Acer, both featuring Chrome boxes. Also, should be worth pulling out the smaller version of Chrome, which is the Chrome Bit from ASUS as well. So, range of devices to look at and working with the likes of Signage Live to produce some great content and signs.
And Google, I think both yourself and your colleague in Vidya from the US have been doing presentations this week. Could you tell us a little bit about those presentations?
Yeah, sure. We've been doing some over at the Google office, which is actually just 10 minutes from the RAI. We were yesterday with AppSpace presenting on their content management and talking to some customers there. We've also been talking to some of the AV reseller community over at Tech Data Maverick as well, around their interest in looking at digital signage and our video conferencing product as well, Chrome devices for meetings.
I suspect this year's show is not that much different from last year. It's a similar size, but they're expecting 70,000 people this year. They had 65 last year. But if you go back to the first year you came, so you remember your first impressions, what's the difference now between what you expected when you saw something 3 years ago and what you're now quite used to in year 3?
Yeah, I think the really interesting thing is how much busier it feels the show actually has. I think it's fair to say the number of people here. But what I think has been the big change is just the range of signage solutions. I think we're moving away from, say, more what would be the traditional sign into internal corporate communications. We're seeing a lot more variety within the solutions as well. I think it's also interesting to see the range of innovation. I mean, amazing screens here that are sort of like millimeters thick, great angles to view from. But I think overall also what we have seen is also that there is a demand for some simplicity within that for end users to be able to access that technology. And I do feel that sort of like what we have with Chrome and other providers here, that it is getting easier to make this approachable. It's not so complex and scary for people. Right.
We've actually used internally, you should have trademarked it, but last year when we spoke at this show on the stage, you talked to us about the consumers expecting things to work really easily. I think you were talking about video conference at the time, one-click buttons, people are using Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter, and that the whole digital signage industry and indeed the workspace collaboration industry needed to learn lessons from that. Do you think have they been learnt in a year, or are we still struggling in that space?
I think we're seeing some of the lessons being definitely learned. I think it's really important to make sure that we don't think about the people in businesses who are technical, that you have to be able to use this. It should be simple, it should be based off that. I think what's fascinating, I see a lot with Chrome and other solutions, is how much they can be set up and just sent to somebody and they literally plug and play. And I think if you go and visit ASUS over in Hall 8, they've got our reference here, which is Toyota, with a great solution that it's very much set up on site and delivered to the end user to do that. Right. But I think it's one of those things that I think we just need to always work on.
We think, I mean, we monitor the digital signage market specifically, as you know. We always think that Signage Live are one of the big success stories based in the UK. They're a big user of the Chrome stuff. Is there anybody else who's as good as that you see that we may not see globally?
I think there's a range of there's some excellent content providers. I've seen Stratos who are here. They've got some excellent content. And I also think the ability to develop in 2 areas. One is HTML5, which just works on Chrome, and also what we have coming in Android innovation, which is a feature called Arc, Android Runtime for Chrome, make a huge difference, that you can develop these applications very, very easily. So I think it's a case there's some great content management out there, but also there's some great content that Google's seeing developed on Android that you're going to be able to bring across to Chrome devices very soon. And I think that's exciting. It's saving developer time as well.
I'm going to ask you about huddles and things in a second, but just going on to keep you on the train of digital signage. You did a Google masterclass in digital signage earlier this year, and there's another one I think coming up during London Digital Signage Week. Tell us a little bit about that and who that's targeted towards.
Yes, we were working on that event with Beaver, and that event really is around, we're hosting it at the Google offices, and we really put the wrap around what Google provides in digital signage. Very, very clear that when we have digital signage, what Google's involved with is the device and the management of the device, but you need a great partner to work around that and think about things like deployment, what the content looks like, the whole solution. So really it's a cooperative thing with Beaver. We provide the solution and sort of like some of the insights to where the solution is going. They do a great job bringing that all together and really making it a very simple solution for the end customer. And we look to do that with a number of resellers across the region.
It's very well thought. I think you've only run it 2 or 3 times now, but very well thought of by our industry, so thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
So huddle spaces, workspace collaboration, again, I think we learned a lot about it when we spoke to you this time last year. It seems to have come on leaps and bounds since then.
Yeah, I think it really has. We've seen particularly with the video conferencing products, we've seen a number of things that are very interesting in terms of trend development. An increase in the number of users who want to have better cameras to be seen in the calls, and I think that's a very interesting development that people are becoming, I think over the 2 years we've had the product, more comfortable with that. I think also the other thing is we're seeing that a lot of businesses are incrementally adding to their fleets on video conferencing. And it's interesting that what we see is a lot of people are coming back and buying 5s, 10s, 15s, 20s, and adding to that, which in the past would have been very big business cases to justify on video conferencing that was traditional. On Chrome devices for meetings, that's a lot easier to do. And I think what we also see is that it's changing from the formal meeting room setting more into a product that's about collaboration. And it could be literally having it on all day as a wormhole, or just small groups collaborating over a document in 2 remote locations or more.
Forgive my ignorance, but I mean, we use Google Hangouts a lot in our own business, instead of general webinar type programs. But is Google Hangouts part of that product suite from Google, or is it a different area?
No, so with there's obviously broadcast features through YouTube and other such ways to reach a bigger audience in a controlled way. With Chrome devices for meetings, it's about being able to communicate to 25 users, which for most people is enough in a meeting. And I think that when you're starting to reach that higher level, you need something with a bit more security around sharing it if you're going to be taking corporate information and posting it publicly.
So you see people starting off maybe Google Hangout if they're doing a webinar or cheap, and then you move to the product?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I use it sometimes with some of the resellers for training, and it's very useful for 10, 12 people to be on a call and do that. And also a lot of the training we do, you tend to find that as it gets larger, you either move to a physical presence or you're then becoming more hands-on anyway. So I think it's great. As long as you can share a screen, show people what you're working on, it makes a huge difference.
Right. Is there anything that we should be looking at as some announcements in the next couple of months from you guys?
I think the big thing from us would be to look out for Arc. I'm really excited to see Android applications coming across onto Chrome. It opens up all of the great developer work that's been done, say, to build a tablet application onto a kiosk or a digital sign. So I think as more Chrome devices get that Arc enablement, it's going to make a big difference to the number of potential users we can reach who can take that across onto Chrome. And I think that's very, very exciting for us, and it's something that we'll be definitely looking at over the next few months. And
my last question for you today, what are you doing next? I know you've got lots of meetings and things planned. Where will you go in the halls to look for the next big thing in the AV space?
I think there'll be a bit of time actually going to have a look at some of the kiosks and some of the actual totems here that are here and looking at the accessories. I think also I'm very interested to see how internal corporate communication is evolving. I think we're seeing more and more that sending out a sheet or documentation is not always the best way to connect to businesses. They're looking for real-time information, and I think that's something that I'm looking forward to spending a few hours this afternoon and having a look at.
Good. Mark, Grady, Google, thank you very much.